You're listening to Pop This, the podcast where two women talk about everything pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen and Andrea Warner.
So we're about to discuss a rom-com. So I have a rom-com question for you.
Please. Hit me.
And Bridgette, our guest, who you'll learn more about. But you already know if you listen to the podcast. Anyway, I digress. Have you ever...
Because this is kicking off Bride Month.
It is Bride Month. We should say that.
Yeah,
yes.
we should, yeah.
Yes, Bride Month. Have you ever, in your life, danced around your kitchen in your underwear singing?
This morning.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have actually,
Okay.
but I mean, like I've done it in my underwear. I've done it naked. Like I like singing.
Yeah, in your underwear? Because I'm always... Rom-coms are big on that scene. They really love a girl in her underwear singing.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, to be really truthful, it would more likely be naked. I'm kind of like a constant nude at home.
Oh.
Like, I mean, I like to sit on a towel, but, you know, a real constant nude.
A constant nude.
Yeah, you know, like that Tobias from Arrested Development is a never nude.
Never nude.
I'm a constant nude.
Man, I wish I'd thought that
Never
up.
not nude is actually also an accurate description of me.
I also think it's we should point out you are clothed right now, though.
I am clothed right now, but
Yes.
apparently I have been a never not nude from the time I was a very young baby. Like, I used to rip off my diaper. I just was constantly wanting to be naked.
So maybe that's like, you're like one or two kinds of people. Maybe it's another one of those divisions, like you're this kind or that kind. I don't mind.
I'm not a nudist. I don't want to be nude in front of everybody else.
I don't think I spend any time naked except in the shower every day.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I don't know. I think I start out in a shaggy robe that then just sort of falls off and then you're nude as you're dancing around.
Yeah. I mean, that's...
You're naked dancing.
You just let it hang, yeah.
Yeah.
You're, okay.
I really attribute... I mean, I was an always nude anyways, even before Carlos. But we are, a constant nude house.
See, I just feel like I would feel like I was doing a scene. Like
you have kids. Like, you have people that you live with. Like, you're not,
I feel like my dogs even are like, what are we doing here? Like, put on something.
I mean, I think, like... I have no pets and I have no children. When my grandma lived with us for a little while, and we've had other people live with us who've had to
that must have cramped your style.
Had to use our spare room. Yeah. Oh my God. 10 months of being constantly in pajamas.
Yeah.
I do live right next door to a high school, so there could be some risk there. I feel like I could be the laughingstock of grade 10 girls, which are always the worst.
Oh boy.
They are the most fearsome.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Just see them judging you. Suddenly you're like Gossip Girl and they're talking about you in some post or something.
I also get off work early, so I'm the example to the kids not to be. They probably think I just wake up around noon and then dance around nude for the neighbors.
Honestly, that's probably a lot of their dream life. They're like, look, we don't know what adulthood looks like, but this woman next door.
But if it's naked and dancing.
At noon on a weekday, into it.
Dreams.
Wow.
Living the
Okay.
dream.
Well, all right. Then I'm just not living my best life.
Yeah.
And
that's the problem.
I will report back. I will make an effort.
Some homework.
To do some either dancing in my underwear.
Yeah. Have you? But I do think, like, because I knew someone who was a grown man who had to move in with his mom to, like, whatever, like, you know, just whatever. She had to look after her, and she was always naked. And I always thought, oh boy, that's not ideal. And
it's probably very European.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure
we just say that about everything.
Anything that's something I don't understand that seems
European,
slightly odd, it's probably European.
Yeah. So I am grateful that like we haven't always been like a sort of like just a full family of nudes. I'm not into that much.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I'm not judging again. I don't want to say that's wrong about that or anything. But
I was shocked when I found out, though. I will say.
And
I was like,
he was okay with this?
He was like, well, it's natural. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
But he didn't experience this as a child. He just discovered it as an adult when he moved in with his mom.
I don't know the dynamic. I did not ask for more information because I
don't really want to know more.
I had always regretted. I had already regretted the amount of information I had. And normally I do want more information all the time. But as soon as I was like, oh, you were 40 and
40.
Yeah. Oh. And it's not, I'm not like she was well. It wasn't some sort of situation where she just had to be medically nude or something. Maybe
anyway. She's easing him into when she needs to be medically nude.
Maybe.
Is that a term, medically nude?
No, I just made it up.
It sounds very clinical. Not at all sexy.
I thought, is that your defense when people come over?
Medically nude.
I need to be medically nude.
It's going to be my thing going, I guess, as I get older and don't care even less than I care now. Medically, I'll be like, sorry, if you come over, you have to understand that I have medically nude.
What was that weird phase? It probably lasted, this is a weird segue, but the purple hat thing that was like, when I'm older, I'll wear a purple hat or something. Uh-huh. Have we evolved from like how that's really not the craziest thing you can do, ladies?
No, I mean, I feel like, again, that was a
time and place.
That was a time and place.
Yeah.
But I will say, the fact that, I mean, this is going to be real dark, but the fact that, like, an American state just effectively banned abortion today.
Yeah.
Maybe purple hats are the craziest things that women can hope for in the future.
Oh, boy.
I know. That got real.
Rather than red gowns from the Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, Can I be medically nude with my hat on?
Medically nude with your purple hat.
This is what this planet has driven us to.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Medically nude in purple hats.
Yep.
That's a protest.
That is a protest.
Right there.
Right down the street.
Yeah. I mean, it may come to that. We'll find out.
Yeah, I guess. Wow, that is...
Sorry, not real dark, real fast.
Segue into our
happy
June Bride Month rom-coms.
It is a segue if you consider the fact that one article stated that this movie set back feminism 20 years. So...
Wow. Okay.
So, this movie played its own part in where we're at today.
Yeah.
I know. I'm Andrea Warner.
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
You're listening to Pop This.
And we are joined by our good friend, favorite bridesmaid, Bridgette Watson. Anything else we need to know about you, or would you like to tell our audience about?
Well, I like to consider myself an armchair fashion critic.
I like it.
Fashion blogger.
Fashion blogger, former fashion blogger, colleague of Lisa and Andrea's. And a recurring cameo on Pop This.
Well, and you are ultimately the inventor of Bride Month.
Yes,
for our podcast. Like I think
that was your idea.
I think it's cathartic for me.
Yeah,
honestly.
Now, since the last time we had you on, you were getting ready for a few other weddings.
Mm-hmm. Still paying off for those dresses.
But you have a big one coming up
in a month. I'll be in Istanbul.
When Lisa told me that, I started laughing so hard. I could not. I was like, after all of our talk last year, and what I thought we were staging was basically an intervention for you.
You would have hoped. I didn't lose any friends. Instead, I just gained more.
Yeah, wow.
And you were like, I don't know if you just know the coolest circle of people in the world, or if somehow people just look at you and you're like, you know what, destination wedding. You're
a little column A, a little column B. I want to think they're pretty cool people.
Fair, yeah. No, so you're going to Istanbul for a wedding.
I'm going to Istanbul for a wedding in a month. I have never been to Turkey before. And in fact, this is a second wedding so last summer, I was a bridesmaid for this bride here in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And now it's a go home to her family and do it all again.
I see. Okay.
Gosh, yeah. Are you a bridesmaid again?
Bridesmaid again.
Okay. And what
have they wait, I just have one question. I'm so sorry. Have they lost anybody from the bridal party? Like, has there already been like friend fallouts where like there's no longer someone going?
I think there's some hesitant relatives.
Nice.
There's some hesitant relatives, but no, the core group is quite small. You don't invite a huge amount of people to Istanbul. Yeah. They drop like flies.
Yeah.
But the original group that has said they're going, we're all still committed.
That's nice.
Wow.
That's nice. I'm sorry I cut you off.
No. That's basically, I was just looking for some more details.
I like
there.
And
do you know, are you wearing the same dress? Did you have to buy a new dress?
The dress is a dilemma.
Oh.
I'm on dress number 3.
Oh.
So I've done this so many times and I've been stuck with so many dresses I've never worn again that this time I'm trying to be very cautious about it. So I started early. I've returned I've shown you the pictures.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I'm now down to option 3, which is tentatively set to arrive maybe while we're here right now.
Oh, okay.
And I will try that one on and hope it's the winner. 3rd time's a charm.
Can I just ask a question? You've already been a bridesmaid in this wedding. Why can't you wear that dress for this event?
That was more of a civil ceremony. It was one of those, we didn't expect it was a wedding. We showed up and it was very casual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the glam attempt.
This is glam. Okay, cool. Well, that's exciting. I'm currently, this year will be... Carlos is my 10th wedding anniversary.
Oh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
We're not renewing our vows because we don't want to get divorced.
It's all the nudity at home.
Yeah, I've really found that the renewing of the vows is usually
it's never worked out for a single housewife.
Never single, no one.
What do you think of this idea though of renewing a contract as a married couple, which has sort of been in the zeitgeist lately?
No, I'm good. We just want to have a party. We do want to have a party. So we're going to have a party. We're going to try and rent the same venue. We've made a lot of new friends since then and lost some that were in the original hangout times. So we just want to throw a party for our friends and hang out and have fun.
Do you need to bring toasters and deep fryers?
No presents. No presents. Very low-key involvement.
Just your presence.
Just you come and hang out with us and we'll dance and we'll have a good time. We'll eat some food. And have some drinks.
Nice.
So that's our goal is to next October around our 10th wedding anniversary. It's also around our 13th dating anniversary or whatever, is to have a big party.
So now the Istanbul wedding, what's how many people will be at this one?
I think there's about 100 people.
Oh, wow.
100 people, although the bride says it keeps growing because she's the only child. And mom and dad are telling everyone they know in every shop and store and boutique, she's getting married, come on by.
In my mind here, I'm imagining the village is all going to show up.
Well, the village is all going on a group honeymoon afterwards. So the couple has been legally married for a while, and they want to celebrate with all their friends, and the bride wants to show us the south of Turkey. So we're actually all going to the beach en masse afterwards. So this is a pretty thrilling time.
Wow.
That's going to be so fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll get the pictures on the Instagram, won't we?
I would hope so.
Yeah, okay, good. Well,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and you're amazing. A good friend.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
Better than our friends in this movie. There's my segue.
That is a segue. Yeah.
A perfect segue.
So we're kicking off. We're going to talk about Bride Wars. It is a movie from... It's 10 years old this year.
10 years old. Like your marriage.
Like my marriage. Yeah. I can't believe this wedding...
Was this the inspiration for your wedding?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Oh my God. This movie. Ugh. Okay, well, we got some things to talk about.
We sure do.
It's Bride Month. This is the kickoff to our second annual Bride Month, June.
And this is the one to set it off because June is very important in this movie.
This movie, particularly.
Yes.
Bride Wars, the 2009 American romantic comedy film directed by Gary Winnick of 13 Going on 30, Pieces of April, and Letters to Juliet. He did die from brain cancer in 2011, so I will minimize the number of negative things I have to say about him. R.I.P. Gary. No, I'm kidding. I won't actually minimize it at all.
Even though I've seen all those other movies.
Well, and we just did 13 Going on 30, so,
we've never done Letters to Juliet.
No. Well, give it time. Or Pieces of April.
Yes.
Written by Greg DePaul, June Diane Raphael, and Casey Wilson. The film stars Kate Hudson, Anne Hathaway, Brian Greenberg, Chris Pratt, Kirsten Johnson, and Candice Bergen, and Steve Howey, although I barely know who he is. But a Chinese remake of the same name was released in 2015.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. So I'm excited about that. I kind of want to find that one.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. It crossed over there. So the synopsis. Since the time they were little girls, best friends Liv and Emma have been planning every aspect of their future weddings, including choosing the same destination, New York's famed Plaza Hotel. But when a clerical error causes a clash in wedding dates, Liv and Kate discover their inner demons with their lifelong friendship as a possible casualty.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. This movie. Okay, I know. This is the pause. I had never seen this movie until just now.
Can I just say I went to the theater to see this movie?
You went to the theater to see this movie? Amazing. Okay.
My dedication to the rom-com...
It knows no bounds.
No.
Yeah.
We'll go.
And you, Bridget, it was your first time?
It was my first time. Mm-hmm. I had never seen it before.
Okay. So, I would just like your first impressions, please.
I'm a little shook, quite honestly. It shook me to the core of my singledom soul.
Really?
You know, I'm 30-something, not married.
Yep.
It made me think I don't care enough or didn't care enough as a young child. I didn't scrapbook. I didn't play bride as a child. It made me feel as though I don't deserve it in a way.
Wow.
Because I didn't put enough early energy. I'm sorry I didn't start saving at 16 to get married at the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I think that's the reason why, obviously.
Clearly.
Right there. Yeah.
Clearly.
And I'm busy every weekend in the summer with other people's weddings.
Yeah. You're going to Turkey.
What was your impression upon seeing it for the second time now? Or maybe for the 15th. I don't know.
Well, it's not the top of the genre list for me. It's not good. Yeah. It wasn't good then, and it's not particularly good now.
But Casey Wilson, I mean, I thought there was potential there.
And June Diane is a big fave of mine because Bridgette and I are big fans of Casey and Danielle Snyder's podcast, Bitch Sesh, which June Diane appears on quite often to break down the housewives.
I'm a big fan of How Did This Get Made?
Yeah.
It's great. And my real favorite, Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, who was also recently on a live Bitch Sesh, and they had made him watch Vanderpump Rules for the very first time, and he had no idea.
Oh my god, amazing!
That sounds honestly incredible. Even if you've never
I will watch. I will listen to that.
Oh
that
my
sounds
gosh,
great.
Yeah.
So I was excited about doing this film because of June, Diane, and Casey. And then I watched the movie, and I was like, what is even happening here? And then it got to a moment where I was so touched by something that was happening. Like, this movie made me cry at least twice.
I cried
maybe
too.
a third time.
What made you cry?
Okay, so it was, weirdly enough, Kate Hudson's like moment with her prospective husband in bed, where she's so sad about the friendship rift between her and her friend, and he's petting her head, and she's talking about how perfection has been like this thing that she has sort of tried to attain because it gives her a feeling of control, her dead parents, like, so it's got a lot of beats for me that I can sort of identify with. And the prospective husband did something that was like just really nice and I thought lovely. And he was like, oh, I always wanted a human wife. Oh. And I thought like there was just a like and I thought Kate Hudson did a great job in this moment. And then when we get to the end and they have their big like she has her breakup with Chris Pratt's character, who's terrible. And they have their moment where they come together again. And they have like this really lovely, like just chemistry finally that they're allowed to like just be people who love each other and who like absolutely are going to come together in that moment, because you don't just erase 20 years of friendship. Like it's there. Like, I mean, outside of all the contrivances and plot contrivances and stupidity that's happening throughout this whole movie, where it does half the time seem like this movie hates women. I don't know who's responsible for it, but I want to blame Greg DePaul because the story is by him. So I am imagining that what happened is that they had this kind of crappy script, and June, Diane, and Casey were brought in to amp it up and humanize it and give us some fun beats. Like there's like, and so I think that the moment my perspective is that the moments I loved where it actually showed like humanity and character and like humor, which are few and far between in this film, I'm going to attribute to them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And a whole fat shaming plot as well.
A lot of fat shaming.
Oh my god,
plot. It's just it's the undercurrent of this entire movie.
Yeah. I was just movie. Like, how is this even a thing?
Shocked.
I also felt very poor after watching this film.
Oh my god, the class is like
unreal.
It's ridiculous.
Although I wasn't quite certain Anne Hathaway's position money-wise. Because
we're meant to infer that she's a teacher and so she therefore has no money, and that she has been saving for this herself, whereas the other one has no parents, but she's a high-powered lawyer, so she has lots of money. Yeah.
The weirdest thing about this movie, I find, is the unevenness of how great Kate Hudson's character is, and it's much more interesting, and she seems in a much more like a solid, weird relationship where this person really respects and understands her, and even that clumsy proposal was really funny.
It was funny
because he
they trust each other. I think.
Yeah, he's like,
and she's really self-aware.
Yeah, like I'm this, and that's what you fell in love with, and he's like, absolutely, that's what I fell in love with.
Yep.
And that never wavered.
Nope.
And I really appreciated that. Where I thought Anne Hathaway just got garbage. We didn't even get to see her fall in love with the brother. It was like at the end of the wedding, and then it's a year later, and she's pregnant. You're like,
and she got over the June wedding pretty quick at the Plaza, because if she married him and it's a year later, they clearly didn't get married in June at the Plaza.
Yeah, and they didn't know that each other were pregnant.
Nope.
So they haven't seen each other?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like that's the thing. This movie, I feel like, was written by someone who's never had a friend. And then
Greg DePaul.
And then 2 other women came on and were like, oh, we're friends. Let me show you how it's done.
She goes from mousy to mean real fast.
Yeah, she did.
So either she's been bottling it up for a while.
Is that what they were trying to tell us?
I think they were.
They were trying to say that she had been repressing, like with the principal at the school was always making her do
one snarky coworker.
Yeah, I know.
But the assumption always is that if you are sort of like repressing something, you are always a hair trigger away from just going full mean.
Yeah.
Like always. And there's nothing that's full mean like 2 women wanting the same wedding venue. Is that a real, like, on the same date? Really? Is that? And you've got both of these like grooms being like, joint wedding, super cool.
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway's character really only started to take shape when she was like, I share everything. This is for me.
Yeah.
And like, again, this idea that we have given to the world, and because we like exist in this patriarchy, like women get one day and that's that. And like, so in a patriarchal society, women get a wedding day because that's all they deserve.
But even Kate Hudson's character's fiance recognized that as a weak concept.
But I mean, like this, at least her partner wants to be involved. Chris Pratt's character gets to be so I've had some issues with Chris Pratt recently. Not personally, because obviously I don't know him. It's awful.
And if you don't know what is going on, you have not been following.
No.
And Anna was probably good to get out.
I think, honestly, God, this character felt to me. I was watching with my best friend Julia. We looked at each other and we're like, this is actually probably the closest Chris Pratt's ever come to playing himself, right?
When he says that line about controlling your woman.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping that he was going to implode by the end of the film, or that line wasn't just going to hang there, that she was going to recognize that he was not good.
Anne Hathaway's character doesn't even get a chance to be all like she calls him on it in a little small way, but then she swallows that too. And so the only place that she feels safe enough to sort of like expend the anger that she is carrying from being sort of like put upon all the time is on her best friend. Like, and I get that dynamic to a certain extent, because it actually often, depending on who you are, it takes someone that you trust a lot to be able to show anger towards.
But can I just say that...
But not in an abusive way.
Yeah, I would have preferred, though, like I was saying, the whole Kate Hudson storyline with her husband, boyfriend, fiance, whatever.
Yeah.
He goes through all 3 and...
Sure, he sure does, yeah.
Is so consistent and charming and sweet. And I thought... It's not fair with that Chris Pratt proposal, because it was really lovely and what he said to her.
Yeah, I loved him in that moment.
That was great.
In a fortune cookie, like he had to, like that was really lovely.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's dumb. Like, why not set up something like that makes us be suspicious of him?
Well, I think the point that we're supposed to be suspicious of him is that he's constantly crapping on Liv. Like, he's constantly saying that she's bad.
So I needed more flashbacks.
I felt like he just did. I felt like it was so uneven. It was like all of a sudden he's
very
like,
uneven, for sure.
We're gonna control your woman. I'm like, whoa.
That did come out of nowhere.
What? You were the like the nice guy.
There was one indication in the opening scene when they're at the wedding, very first scene, and he insists that they're going home to just watch TiVo.
Oh yeah,
but I love going home to watch TiVo.
I was gonna,
I didn't see that.
That didn't feel.
That's why the only indications.
The other couple did the same thing.
Yeah, the only indications to me were the fact that he kept crapping on Liv. That I thought was supposed to be our indication.
But our initial
it wasn't enough. We need more.
Proposal, which is pretty quick at the beginning of this movie,
the
right?
initial proposal is nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
And I would have, and then it just like everything with the Kate Hudson thing was so consistent.
Yeah.
That her finding it and saying something to him, like that whole thing just rolled and felt right.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm over here, you've got this weird, odd dynamic going on, and even watching Kate Hudson's epiphany, which was, learning to embrace, the inconsistencies
Humanism.
and humanism, felt like, oh, that was nice. I don't even know what happened to Anne Hathaway. I don't even understand.
She got a haircut. Did you see that? And impregnated by her best friend's brother.
Changed her lipstick color.
Yeah. It was like, it didn't make any, it felt like it was it was weird. It was
We've got time to develop one character.
Yeah.
We don't have time to develop two.
And if the worst thing, and even the Oompa Loompa thing that happened in the can I just also say.
The blue hair? Is that what you're referencing?
No, the tanning salon.
Oh, yeah.
Can I say, even if you paid me money to go and sabotage a tanning, I
wouldn't know
how to do this.
Same with the hair dye.
Yeah, with the hair dye.
Yeah, I thought that as well.
How did you do that so smoothly? Like, honestly, these women have some secrets.
This movie grossed $114 million. I just want to reflect on that for a minute. On a $30 million budget.
Okay, but also, if you were to look up rom-coms in 2009, it was a big hate. Like, we were pumping those things out, right?
But this is a lot of money, though.
Yeah.
Like, they basically made 4 times its budget, and that's wild.
But this is what we've said before. It's like women crave stories about women. We want to see stories about women, and we like rom-coms. And I like a wedding. I like weddings.
They're safe eye candy.
But I felt so deserved by this.
I hated everything
and
about
that's
this
what
wedding.
makes me feel so sad. It's just like wasting a moment and potential.
And as a continuous bridesmaid, why did all of the friends choose to be Kate Hudson's bridesmaids? No one sided with Anne Hathaway at any point.
They were in Kate Hudson's, their joint friends were not Kate Hudson's bridesmaids. They were in the audience at Kate Hudson's wedding. She found random other bridesmaids, it seemed.
Oh, right.
But she had a stagette, and Anne Hathaway didn't get a stagette.
She had a stagette with like 100 people.
And then also those cutaways to June Diane being so cruel to her husband.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't understand those.
I think that it's supposed to... And I mean, I do think this is something that, like, again, this movie seems to have been hacked together in not a very streamlined way. But I think what we are supposed to... I think what we're supposed to take from that storyline, which is actually one of the things I sort of vaguely enjoyed ultimately about the film, one of the few things, is that she has this like so-called perfect wedding. It's something she's been dreaming about the whole time. And within a month, she realizes she hates him.
Right.
She can't stand him, and it's awful. And she's divorced within 3 months, it seems.
Yeah.
And so I think that we're supposed to see that as like this parallel storyline in which it sort of subverts everything we've been learning so far, which is that every woman dreams of this magical thing happening, but when they get it, is it really what they wanted? Mm-hmm. No, because they've been investing in like, poof, just magic beans.
There was one line where Kate Hudson says she's already on her divorce. She's way ahead of us.
Exactly.
And so in that moment, you wonder, is it really about the forever wedding, or is it about a rite of passage or marking a point?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially like the fact that it's like so much money. Like this, like getting married at the plaza, like this specific vision is not about finding love.
They never even threw one number out. I wanted a number. When she said when she'd been saving since 16, what are we looking at here? 100,000?
Oh, easy.
Because of the flowers, the dress, the catering.
Candice Bergen's fees.
And that was a team
plaza.
there.
And honestly, the plaza is like one of the most expensive hotels in New York. Like it's like $2,000 or $3,000 to stay there for like a night.
Yes.
Like it's so.
Anne Hathaway saved money on her save the date though.
She did. Think of that email. This Richard Roper's review I think is hilarious. This is the wrong film for the wrong times. Sure, folks like to go to the cinema to escape their troubles. Think of all the musicals and frothy comedies that were released during the Great Depression. But in these dark economic times, watching two gorgeous, skinny, screeching young women battle over their insanely lavish weddings, no thanks. This stuff would have seemed tired and sexist 40 years ago, let alone in 2009. Yeah. And I mean, there's like an element that I do not agree with, but it's not wrong as well.
Yeah, no, I know. It just, and the things they were fighting over, it made you feel uncomfortable because it was so depressing.
Super depressing. And then we're supposed to be laughing along with the fact that she's putting on weight because she's getting candies. Yeah.
Another point that Chris Pratt's character is mean.
Yeah.
It was all his idea to send lavish chocolates and whatnot to Kate Hudson's character.
It was, yeah. Didn't you say she like was, what was his language?
Heifer.
A heifer.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
Calls your best friend a heifer.
Well, honestly, the number of times he talked smack about her best friend, I was like, nope, this is bad. Anyways,
also their apartment was very dismal.
Well, I mean, again, it's like in terms of like a class element, like I get it, like, but I just it's so interesting to me to think about like 10 years ago as being this sort of like this economic depression in America, but it makes sense, obviously, like the housing crisis at like the bottom of the market, like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So this movie is extra bananas.
And Kate Hudson produced this movie. I didn't know that. She was one of the producers on the film.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I saw an interview with her recently after I watched the film, and she was saying that it was female-driven comedy, and she thought it was very feminist content, and and that she worked really hard to get the money to put this movie together.
Oh.
But that's the thing, like, that is one of the problems in Hollywood, is like the fact that if you have a female team behind it, you can convince yourself that it's feminist-driven comedy because there's so little money and power being afforded to women to make films. And you can end up making a film that does, I think I agree partly with Jezebel's headline, which it sets back feminism 20 years. Because like the elements of this movie are so egregiously awful. Like just this idea. And I mean, I know that the end is sort of supposed to absolve the movie of itself. I think to a certain extent. By the
end, you mean like the scrap during the wedding, the fight?
Well, and when you realize, like the voiceover at the end of Candice Bergen being like, and really ultimately like what is really important is like your friend is your soulmate, kind of a similar ending to like Sex and the City.
Right.
Right.
And I was crying at that point.
That's me too.
And that's why did it set my personal feminism back 30 years? Because I was crying. I was questioning my belief in weddings and my desire to be in one as other than a bridesmaid. You know, it just was a real shaking moment.
Well, there is an element for sure though, like where a lot of it I'm like, oh, this is a stereotype of how you have to be a feminine woman. This is a stereotype, like these tropes about like women being desperate to be married beyond anything else, like this constant need for the big day, as it were. But I know that this is and continues to be something we do normalize in our society. Like we emphasize all the time, like about, are you single? Are you married? Like it's a real, and I get it. Like I don't, and one of the reasons that I used to hate rom-coms so much was because of how much I felt that they like upheld the patriarchy. But you know, again, with credit always to Daniel Zamparelli for saying to me, what's unfeminist about a woman articulating that she wants to be loved?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and and it's weird that you should say Kate Hudson felt that way. Yeah, about her character.
Well, that her character
got a lot to work with and do and change. And Anne Hathaway, I don't even like for a second understand what was that. You didn't even need that.
No,
we could have, honestly, you did not even need that storyline at all. We could have just watched Kate Hudson have to deal with her perfectionism and being able to fall in love and all the loss she had. And even that loss thing, like she had no uncles or aunts. Or
no family.
No
and why
family.
did Anne Hathaway not reach out to her mom until all of a sudden she's at her wedding?
Yeah.
She's lonely. She has no support. Her parents seem lovely.
Yeah, her parents, and they bring that scrapbook. Might that scrapbook have come up at the shower?
Again, a lot of plot contrivances in this film. Like, it's all there to be inexplicably the worst.
Yeah.
Like every situation is set to be the extreme of or what you could think of as being sort of like the stereotypically like worst. What's your like worst nightmare if you like have a big falling out with your best friend and you're like fighting over the same wedding venue and the same guest list and et cetera, et cetera.
That happened to you too, right? Because that happened to me.
All the
time.
Very relatable. All the time. Highly relatable content.
Did you get Oompa Loompa'd?
Yeah, I got Oompa Loompa'd and then,
covered in fake hair. Spray tan and blue hair.
The blue hair looked so much better than her real hair.
I loved the blue hair.
Character. What was up with her hair in that movie? Kate Hudson.
That was the worst wig.
Almost.
It's a terrible wig.
Was she filming something else that she had no hair at that time?
I would like to believe that she secretly had a shaved head at the time. I don't know. But it's a terrible wig.
It seemed really out of character to me because she was still very much trying to control everything. Why would you have your stag-at and go out drinking the night before the biggest presentation you have scheduled at work?
Yeah, it didn't.
Again, and forget you have blue hair.
Again, none of it
and just wear your bra.
Right.
meant to apparently be interrogated. Like we are, like that's the thing. The movie sells out its characters at every given chance.
Yeah,
it does not. It's not terribly
and you want to know
interesting.
who's a bad dancer? Anne Hathaway.
Oh, I thought so too. I'm glad you brought it up.
I mean, she gave it her all.
Oh, she did.
But Kate Moss's Kate Moss, fashion on the brain. Kate Hudson's little shimmy.
Yeah.
For a few seconds on the platform there, I thought was better than Anne Hathaway's entire
but she's
number.
She was a professional dancer, right? Like, so.
But Anne Hathaway must have training as well. We've seen.
I think Anne Hathaway has ballet training.
Right.
Like she did.
Well, because that montage.
I think she has ballet training.
Yeah.
I felt like I could hear her brain thinking what her next step needed to be.
Well, isn't that what the curse of Anne Hathaway is?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is that we can always hear her brain thinking of what she has to do next.
Maybe the whole time she was going, I'll bet I'll get offered Les Mis. Just keep thinking that. You'll get offered Les Mis. Because that was only, a few years after that, right?
Yes.
2011, 2012. So.
And when I watched this interview with Kate Hudson, she said she reached out to Anne Hathaway and then they molded the role to her strengths. So I would imagine that Anne Hathaway picked her own strength, which was her dance number.
That feels like shade from Kate Hudson.
Yeah, no kidding. I was thinking that exact same thing.
And for a feminist movie, for Kate Hudson, or a so-called feminist movie, and for Kate Hudson to feel like it was a feminist movie, and her character is the only one that makes sense, and that she then helped mold Anne Hathaway's character to be suited to Anne Hathaway's strengths. Yeah. I mean, again, I don't like to read into stereotypical, women can't work together, but that feels like shade to me.
I can live with that, yeah.
Here's another fine review here, which it really sums this up. Besides being lazy and unfunny and poorly written and impossibly unrealistic, Bride Wars is just a terrible depiction of womanhood. It comes, of course, out of the Bridezilla era of reality television in which women are reduced to cruel caricatures for wanting something that doesn't really exist but is based on their preconceived notions based in movies and TV and going about it in less than flattering ways. Gabe Delahaye, Stereogum? Well, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with all of that except for those first few words.
I agree with that either, because what if this film was about two women who both wanted to be the CEO of a company?
Yeah.
Is that more feminist than two women who desperately want to be brides? Is that a different context? Does that make it higher brow? Because
your job is not getting married. Your job is a job, and that's something that has more value to me than a wedding day. Because again, this movie is not about the people that they're marrying. This movie is about this vision that they've executed in their heads of what this.
I would have liked one more scene, which is odd because literally we're talking about editing the entire thing down to 0.
Just spending some time interrogating. Anne Hathaway's dream falls apart in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't make her life worse. If anything, she ends up getting what she wants.
Yeah.
And we spend no time with that at all.
No.
I still don't understand why she feels like she never gets what she wants. I mean, she's wearing her mom's dress.
Yeah.
As she felt almost like a burden to wear her mom's dress. Her mom shows up and says, wear whatever you want. Yeah. I have no issue with what you're wearing.
So her mom's lovely. Yeah. Everyone's lovely. Yet she feels like she has some put upon life where she can't express herself.
I mean, that's a full possibility. That is the way some people are living their lives all the time. It's that sort of a lack of any kind of interior sense and self-awareness.
I would have liked to seen a scene when they were children, when the parents passed, and their friendship cementing strength-wise in that moment. And I think when they're little girls and they're at the plaza, they have a true sense of, they say, when I find someone who will stick with me forever, this is where we're going to get married.
Yeah.
So in that moment, as little kids, I think they saw one-upping their friends or the consumer aspect of it, whereas little kids, they really just wanted their forever partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is sweet. And that, again, is why
very sweet.
I never get mad at rom-coms, because I think that's a very healthy and fair desire to want to connect with a person.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's particularly how I've come to appreciate them in this newer fashion in my 30s. And that actually one of the places that I thought they did good work, and maybe they needed to rely more heavily on other characters around Anne Hathaway than around her character, since they didn't want to develop that at all. But when her dad comes to see her, comes to see Liv, and is I wish my best friends were here to see. And it makes more sense if we get a bit of backstory wherein they are best friends in the way that sisters might be best friends, which is like a little element of competition and a little element of codependence, you know? So much of this movie, there are these tiny moments that are then thrown away. Yeah. And that, I mean, these are the things that I sort of keep coming back to, which is like, I really fully expected to hate this film with every fiber of my being, and how I have like this bit of tenderness for elements of this movie now.
It's largely to do with the fact that Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson are very likable. We've always had, I mean, there's nothing much you can do about that.
You know, I've not liked Kate Hudson very much.
Oh, I love
Kate Hudson.
I love Kate Hudson.
I feel like we'd be friends. I just want to hang out.
I don't think she can do any wrong at all.
Anne Hathaway sort of like reminds me of someone you'd be put in a group project with, and she'd be really organized.
Really, really trying hard.
But I like the element to which she does try hard, because I think that she has to.
And Rachel Getting Married, one of my favorite
I like that movie
bride movies with Anne Hathaway. So she has chops.
And that's the thing. So Rachel Getting Married, so there's talk that the reason that Anne Hathaway did not win the Oscar nomination, or she got an Oscar nomination for Rachel's Getting Married, this movie came out in the 2 months of the Oscars, and there is talk that this movie ruined her chance at getting an Oscar.
Because people just thought
they hated it, and they're so disdainful and hate like female-driven rom-coms like this so much that they were just able to dismiss her mentally.
That seems really personal to Anne Hathaway, though, because I think you could find examples of other.
Only when it comes to women, though. Like, I feel men are very rarely punished, save Eddie Murphy. But again, he's a man of color. He's a man of color, and he I don't think like. Chris Pratt is not good in this film.
No.
He's gone on to be a massive box office success.
But Van, because we were both talking about our love of Reba. Did you watch?
I had watched a few episodes of Reba here and there, and I like the guy who plays Kate Hudson.
I also watched Shameless, and he's a big star in Shameless.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's wonderful in it.
And I have to say, Kate Hudson and McConaughey and the 10
Things I Hate About You.
That's the
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
How to Lose a Guy.
I've never seen it.
That is so funny.
It's a good one.
That is a good one. Yes.
Because I'm not. So I don't like her that much, and I don't like Matthew McConaughey that much.
Then you might not.
Well, it's basically what you're saying. It'd be like this movie without the Anne Hathaway character.
Yeah.
Is kind of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah. I think that was very funny.
Okay.
I really do. I do think that one
And they're both sparkly personalities. I enjoy them together.
And Matthew McConaughey would go on to dazzle us all with his acting chops in True Detective. And
see, I never watched.
And be nominated
Dallas
for Oscars
Buyers
despite
Club.
making rom-coms.
Did you see Dallas Buyers Club?
I did see that.
And no?
I thought he was fine.
Oh, yeah. Fine. Oh.
Yeah. I just
don't like
him.
How about those commercials?
Oh, yeah, I'm super into those confusing commercials where he just suddenly appears in someone's house and sinks a pool ball and then goes back into his Lincoln and drives away. That I'm into.
Yeah, I
that's
thought that would be
that's
your...
the sweet spot for me. Is
all right.
Yeah, it goes back to Dazed and Confused for me.
That's
Fun fact, I heard he just met the person making that film in a bar and was chatting with him, and the guy thought, you have to be Wooderson in this film. Dazed and Confused.
Matthew McConaughey is gonna. I don't think he's written a memoir yet, but that's a man that's just stumbled into. Even on Family Guy, they made a joke about how, like, he's just like such a laid back idiot, and he's like, "That's fine. You call me whatever you want."
His brother's name is Miller Lite.
I literally don't care at all. Like,
I know a woman whose cousin's name is Bacardi.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
Well, isn't that Cardi
His
B's
brother's
name to some degree?
It's her sort of, but Bacardi, like literally their name is Bacardi.
That's fun.
Anyways,
he's Miller Lite.
His brother's name is Miller Lite. Matthew McConaughey. I mean, we can fact check this.
I love it.
But
let's just run this.
I don't know why. No, I'm sorry. Matthew McConaughey has nothing to do with this conversation at all, except for that I do think Kate Hudson is up there with rom-com queens.
I agree.
And you do not?
You don't think so?
I just don't like her that much.
Almost Famous?
I liked her fine in Almost Famous. I thought she was really good in Almost Famous. That's a movie that frustrates me a lot. We did that a long time ago, a million years ago.
Yeah.
Very early on in the podcast, actually. And I thought she was fine in Almost Famous. But yeah, she just doesn't do much for me. Like I don't engage with her that much as a performer. And again, though, a lot of this may be because she was exclusively starring in films that I found offensive to my very core, and that I haven't like reinterrogated and rewatched with fresh eyes.
Right.
Well, that feels like a very valid reason.
Yeah, no, that's
no, it's just my
fair.
internalized sexism. That's all. It's
But
cool.
I think it's also one of those situations where the actors themselves, the people, are bigger than the characters. So to me, I'm watching Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway almost as much as I'm watching Liv and Emma.
Yes.
And I feel like Kate Hudson, your opinion aside, is a bit of a girl's girl. When I look at her social media and that kind of a thing, she's always with other women, supporting other women, and I don't see a lot of that going on with Anne Hathaway so much.
Interesting.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't watch either of their social medias. I'm sorry. I mean, I think it's just like...
Well, I do too. And she has her own fitness line.
That's actually probably one of my main reasons. I'm like, nope, gotta bounce. I'm just like,
but I also have a real soft spot for Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just do.
No, that's great.
It's like one of the great Hollywood love stories.
It is, and I actually do hope that they stay together.
No.
Oh.
I mean, they're common law, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
They've been together a long time.
They make these little videos, like it was Kurt Russell's birthday.
Their family Christmases, I want to go.
Yeah, and she's making fun of him because he's all excited to go on a vineyard tour, and she's like, "You're an idiot." And he's like, "I know." And then there's another baby, and the two of them, they're like the happiest grandparents in the world, and they're just
What's their son's name?
Wyatt Russell?
No.
Whose son?
Goldie Hawn's son.
Oh, Mark. No.
The one who was in that show Whistler that filmed here?
Yes, but he was also in another show as well. Oliver Hudson. Oliver Hudson.
Yeah.
I was once CC'd on an email to him and a bunch of random famous people by accident because someone like included me when they shouldn't have. And so I was seeing this like weird conversation about like, oh, this is how rich people organize dinner parties. Terribly. This is what it is.
Goldie Hawn used to live here.
Yeah, right? No, I know.
His son was playing hockey, right?
Yeah.
And he's now turned up in a lot of shows I quite like.
Has he? I don't know.
Yeah, no, he's been in Black Mirror.
Okay.
And also one of 22 Jump Street.
Am I the only one who kind of enjoys Anne Hathaway? I'm the outlier in this one. Am I?
I don't.
That's cool.
I feel like maybe I don't dislike Anne Hathaway. I just wonder if she would dislike me, and so I'm nervous about her.
Preemptively, you're like, you know what?
I think of a movie that I really liked her in.
Rachel Getting Married. I
liked that movie a lot, and I liked her, but I mean, like a really big movie, and she seems to always be working. I guess, Devil Wears Prada.
I thought she was great.
She's perfectly cast in Devil Wears Prada.
Like
I don't agree with some of the characters' decisions, but she's the perfect person to play that role.
No, I think she was good in that, and I liked her in that, but I mean, otherwise, it's fine. You're a big Anne Hathaway fan.
I wouldn't say big, but I have found her to be more appealing to me as a performer than Kate Hudson.
I think she cares. I think she shows up and she's prepared. And
she is. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think she's probably really professional and...
She has very fine teeth.
Mm-hmm. She's quite beautiful.
She is. Oh, her breasts were like really kind of confusing me.
I'm gonna have to go back.
I'm gonna have to go back and look. Do you like the term? Like, just not to. We can spend more time talking about people's breasts after, but what do you think about? So, like, the term chick flick has been very pejorative, like a pejorative term for a long time, and rom-coms. We were talking about sort of like. A few weeks ago, Lisa, we were talking about that article in the New York Times about how people miss rom-coms. Mm-hmm. Like, this came out in a very interesting sort of year. This movie was made in the era of chick flicks. In 2010, Time magazine made a list of the 10 worst chick flicks. This is sort of how we move away from rom-coms and become more situational chick flicks as sort of like the negative term. So The Ugly Truth, All About Steve, Nights in Rodanthe, A Walk to Remember, Made in Manhattan, Valentine's Day, Kate and Leopold, A Cinderella Story, and Crossroads. That was their list of 10 worst.
I dispute some of those.
I would take off of there.
Brittany does no wrong. Crossroads.
There's 2 Nicholas Sparks in there, and I feel judged. They didn't put The Notebook on there. But.
They did not. I mean, I think The Ugly Truth is just genuinely terrible.
Don't know it.
Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler.
Oh, that's some kind of like rom-com action film.
It's the only time...
Oh, no, they're working at a network.
No, they're working at a network.
Right, okay.
It's the only time I've been on a press junket for a film.
Oh,
that was The Ugly Truth. And that was...
So you got to meet Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler.
Yes, and I sat in. Well, I'll meet them in that. Like I sat in the same room as a bunch of reporters, and they sat at a table with the director between them because they seemed to hate each other.
When you met him, did you go, "This is Sparta"?
I did not, because I find Gerard Butler one of the most repellent human beings in the face of this earth. And nothing about that press conference convinced me otherwise.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was.
I have a thing for Scottish accents.
I really enjoyed.
I really do.
I really enjoyed Katherine Heigl, actually.
That's at the top of my...
top of your accent list.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's Irish for me.
Okay.
All right. No, but I actually, I guess I like sort of like unlikable women. I enjoyed Katherine Heigl, and she did what she could with that film.
I've never disliked Katherine Heigl. I understand that the industry
seems to dislike
really
her a
hate
lot.
her, but I mean, Grey's Anatomy was like, I still have such an affection for those 5 seasons.
I thought she did a great job.
Oh
she was
my God, I loved Izzy.
And
Are you kidding? Izzy and George.
I mean, I understand that she has apparently done some things that are less likable in the industry or whatever. But honestly, it's nothing compared to like what men have done.
Exactly.
And
isn't there an expiry date at this point?
Good point. I mean, dear God, they'll point out she's smoking in a picture. You know how they were always obsessed with the fact. But I don't know. I feel like Shonda Rhimes has some tea or dirt. Or
I'm sure she does.
That she's not. That she's too.
But I mean, I think it's like also Katherine Heigl wasn't great. Well, one, it's her mom. Apparently, her mom is like one of those weird mom managers that's awful.
Oh, really? Oh.
And 2, she also came for Judd Apatow after, and his whole crowd, when she talked about Knocked Up and how it was like. So she's done some.
She threw shade about.
She threw shade about that and like about how he continues to make movies that are just basically like anti-woman. And I don't think that she's actually wrong about it. So, anyways, but it was so interesting to me to like even be at that junket and like in the same room as her because she was getting so much flack and people were talking about how difficult she is to work with and like on and on and on and on.
Right there in front of her at the junket?
Yeah. Wow. At the junket. Like, you've got a reputation, Katherine, blah, blah, blah. And that's, fine, whatever. Like, reporters aren't there to be your friends necessarily. But the way in which they come for women versus their male counterparts.
No kidding.
Like, Gerard Butler did not have a great reputation at the time either.
Yes.
And has continued to have a somewhat toilet reputation.
No, fair.
And so I'm just, it's always bothered me. I
think a lot of us have been spending in the last few years wondering, what happened to that actress? What happened to that actress?
Someone told me that was it you that told me she's on Suits?
No.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
So I heard
the new Suits.
Apparently, Katherine Heigl has joined. This is just a rumor. I'm now repeating, but maybe it's fact. Because I haven't seen the new season of Suits.
Oh.
But apparently she, after Meghan Markle left, she apparently called the person who's like the head person at Suits and was like, "I want to join your show," and she did.
Oh,
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued as well.
I'm intrigued about that
because she can do serial drama.
Can I just say something? Ask a really, really, really shallow question. Is she as beautiful as she looks?
Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. She's really stunning.
She just is. It
was a weird weekend because it's the only time I've ever been to the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills, and we got to stay there overnight. And Carlos came with me. We only went for 2 days, but in our exciting 2-day whirlwind of the Four Seasons of Beverly Hills, the Four Seasons person, I don't know if they were just like, you can use like our car service to like go within 5 miles, and so they drove us to the Grove in this most obscene Bentley limo I've ever seen in my life. And the driver was so sweet and so nice. And I was like, I'm sorry, could you just tell me again how much this car cost? And he's like, $500,000. And I said, are you kidding me? Like, this is I was like, and you drive this all the time? He's like, yeah. I was like, and you can just drive us sad people.
5 miles. Can't you just like walk that? I mean,
why would you?
No,
when you
why would you?
$500,000
In LA, you would not. Apparently.
No, I know.
But
it just that seems.
My other exciting thing that happened while I was there is that I came out of a door because I was leaving the next morning, and I literally smashed into Jessica Biel.
Oh, is she very beautiful?
She looks like a lion. It's super cool. She has a real lion face. I like it a lot. Like, she has very strong features. She also like super beautiful, but like a super beautiful lion. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting. And like, but
was
I was
JT
like,
there? Or?
No, but I was like, why would you work out at the 4 seasons in the Beverly Hills.
Maybe like a $500 Bentley brings her in and out of there.
$500,000.
That's just going to the gym there?
She was just there working out.
Oh.
Did she have exquisite cheekbones?
Yes.
I feel like they would.
You could hang Christmas ornaments,
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, that's my claim to fame.
I feel like we have probably also set feminism back 20 years with this particular
How are her boobs?
podcast
No. The Ugly Truth, I would like to just say, is a terrible film.
Okay.
And I did not review it favorably, but I did really feel good that I was able to sort of like write an article about Katherine Heigl that like suggested a counter narrative to the one that was in existence at the time.
I also just want to say that Mandy Moore made me cry like I've never cried before in A Walk to Remember.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was heart-wrenching.
I will continuously watch that show whenever it's on.
Great. It's been suggested to us before for the podcast, and so I would...
Oh, why have we not done that?
It's got to be coming up on like a 20-year anniversary or something.
20 years?
Do you think? Well, I was in high school when it came out.
It's probably. Like, that all but
like butterfly clips were in fashion.
Because she was like playing her age, actually, in that movie.
Yeah, which was like high school.
17
right?
or 18, right?
And it all checks out. I feel like that's a real strong possibility. Okay, so yes, we should. So, Bride Wars. Does it pop?
Radio silence.
I feel like bad women for like putting down movies that these women worked very hard.
Oh, no, I'm fine with it.
Okay, well then you're gonna not pop it.
It's not. No, 3 moments in this film pop, and that's it. And the rest of it is garbage. I am mad.
I would like an opportunity to redo it.
Okay, I could hear that.
Give Anne Hathaway a character just as interesting and fully formed.
Let June Diane and Casey rewrite it entirely.
Yes.
In their own voice.
Or give Casey a character.
Yeah,
Casey I want to see more Casey.
Yes, I would like to have seen a lot more Casey because I love Casey.
Honestly, I'd like to see more June Diane as well.
And more June Diane because they're both really, really very funny.
Why don't they just get to star in it?
Right?
Oh my God.
Less Chris Pratt.
Oh.
No Chris Pratt.
No Chris Pratt.
But we like Van.
But, no. So, no pops from me. What about you two?
I'm going to give it no pops.
Well, I can't really.
But I'm also going to honor the
but...
fact that I cried during it.
No, I cried during it 3 times.
I will honor the fact that a golden time of rom-coms, I hope, comes back again. That movies like this just get made. I love the idea that...
But do you want this to get made?
No, I would like it better.
I want to see a reality show with a Candice Bergen type character because I think that would be fun. Like this played out in real life, women trying to get into the plaza in June. Let's see the struggle there.
The struggle is real.
And I'd like to see a budget.
And again, we get to know we know which rich people we get to eat first.
Yeah.
In the coming economic collapse.
Yes,
that'd be
exactly.
exciting. We love to leave our episodes on something we recommend. Bridgette, as our guest of honor, would you like to go first?
I would. What is popping for me? Not very high intellectual reading this week or much television beyond Housewives, but musically, I'm loving LaKaylee 47. I don't know. I showed you, Lisa, actually at work, and you said you were scared of it.
Oh, yeah.
So she's a female hip hop artist.
Covers her face, right?
She covers her face.
Yeah.
So she's a rapper, and she always wears a mask.
Yeah.
Because she wants to be seen for her art and for her lyrics, and not for her aesthetics. And I can't stop listening to her music. So I saw her recently perform here in Vancouver, and now she's become sort of my favorite human.
Cool. What's the concert guide?
The concert was phenomenal. I haven't danced so hard, moved my body so hard.
That's great.
And if you want to get into her, she has a tiny desk session on NPR.
Yes,
I've seen it. Available on YouTube, so I'd say start there.
I don't want to say she scared me. The video you showed me, now I feel really bad. It was like I was a little bit frightened.
Well, it's stripped down acoustic on the NPR, so get into it there.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Well, I'm going to suggest a Netflix movie that I'm hoping maybe one day we could do for the podcast, which is Someone Great.
Loved it.
How was it?
It was really good.
Yeah.
And, and as a companion piece to my discussion about the Wesley Morris essay about missing rom-coms, I have to say that the idea that our rom-coms now are about maybe falling more in love with your friends and yourself, rather than a bad relationship.
Well, that's one of the things I liked at the end of Bride Wars is like
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm highly recommending Someone Great for all. It was really, really sweet.
That's awesome.
And hard and sad and lovely. And funny.
Yeah.
And there was really, and maybe this is something we need to talk about more, is the chemistry of women. Not just always did the man and the woman have good chemistry.
Of course, yeah.
So these three friends had great chemistry.
Yeah.
And that made up, it was so good.
I also Shazammed almost every song during the film, and I can't think of one song.
That's the underwear
in
dancing
Bride
scene,
Wars.
the Lizzo dance scene.
Right.
Nice.
That Gina Rodriguez is singing
Oh,
to.
yeah.
So,
I do want to do this for the podcast. I haven't watched it, but I do want to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
You're going to love it.
Great.
Yeah.
I am going to recommend the new album from X Hex called It's Real. And I went and saw their show in Vancouver a few weeks ago. It was amazing. It's like an indie rock, garage punk band, all women. The lead singer-songwriter is Mary Timony. And it was so good, so awesome. Associated X, Wild the Flag with Carrie Brownstein. Anyone remember them? Mm-hmm. It was a great, great night. And it was one of the best shows I've seen in a long time. And so go listen to their record, X Hex, It's Real.
Love that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Would you like people to follow you on Twitter or anything, Bridgette?
At BWatts, BEEWATZ.
Awesome. Okay, cool.
It's just a lot of Met Gala retweets right now, but...
That's cool. In a couple weeks when this airs, maybe it'll be something new.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for everyone for listening and for kicking off Pride Month with us.
And thank you, Bridgette, for being here.
Yeah, you're great.
Love
thank
it.
you so much.
Thank
we're,
you.
We're looking forward to where you're going to be next year. I know that.
Can't wait.
I cannot wait. It'll be the moon or Mars.
Oh my God, I love
now.
it. Yeah. You can hang out with us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You could rate and review us 5 stars. 5 stars. On iTunes.
Andrea Gin is our producer, and we record at the Vancouver Public Library. Happy June Bride Month.
Yeah.
Or June Diane.
June Diane. Or if you're anti-bride, well, hang out with us, because honestly, I don't think every episode that we're gonna do is gonna be like, yay, marriage.
No.
I don't think this one really was.
I don't think this was yay, marriage either.
No. But be in love.
Sure, be in love. Yeah.
Yeah,
be in
there
love
you
is
go.
good. Yeah. Thank you.